All right, here we are at a wrap session for the Atlantic Canadian First Seafood Industry Innovation Summit. I want to tell you, I sure had fun. There was a lot of great conversations had, a lot of collaboration. There's no doubt about that. People were here to share ideas, to share best practices, learn from one another, and they sure did. I can tell you the excitement that I felt in every conversation was overwhelming, and it doesn't happen without tremendous organization, and you guys are the organizers. So thank you for putting it off. But I want to dive a little bit deeper, and I want to talk a little bit about what you gained from it. So we're going to start down there in Newfoundland, and tell me what you felt the conversation around automation went like for you.
Wow. So the conversation was, we need to do more of it. We need to start incorporating more automation into the processing plants, not necessarily as a replacement for people. That is part of it, because we do have a shortage of workers in a lot of plants in Atlantic Canada, but also because the automation can help make jobs more efficient, make them easier, and make people more productive. So it will help make jobs easier. It will create new jobs. There was a lot of discussion around the role of automation, robotics. Those types of new technologies will bring new jobs. So there'll be other sectors such as ICT, technology sectors, engineering. There'll be more of those types of jobs in the industry. So there's a lot of excitement about that. I think it also speaks to how do we engage younger people to get involved in this sector? Because if you look around the room, there's a lot of people with hair like me, mine, gray and thinning. So we need more young people to get interested in this industry. And I think the automation, digitization, the robotics piece, a lot of young people are interested in those sectors. And there's going to be a lot of jobs in that area in fish processing in the future.
Nova Scotia, what's your lens on it? I know Newfoundlanders could talk, but go ahead and expand on that one.
I mean, I do echo everything that Heather just said. I mean, first off, innovation and collaboration were two really important things when it came to creating this summit. So the collaboration, even between the provinces, you know, the collaborations we've made just personally with our organizing committee are really important and have been really valuable, but also creating that space where different provinces, different sectors that are related to seafood have a place to come and to share and to see how they can help each other. So I think that was some of the feedback we were getting too, is that, you know, this is a different platform that way.
Right.
You know, not just because of the demonstrations and the hands-on workshops. It's also who's here and what, again, that core reason for us all being here is.
Now, PEI, you want to add to all of these comments, or more to say there?
I just think the biggest takeaway from the whole piece is that automation is not meant to replace workers and to replace jobs. It's to make them, you know, better quality product at the end, more efficient, less taxing on people's bodies. I mean, fish processing is historically, it's been a very hard working job. We saw in the Botter presentation, the majority was women, all working with their hands and like deboning the fish. And I think, you know, like Heather said, automation is just going to attract a whole new workforce, and I think that's key.
Great. Nova Scotia, you get the lead on this one. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and digitization, what did you feel the conversation went like?
Well, those are some of my favorite subjects, so thank you for leading me with this question. I think what I kept hearing a lot of was the willingness to accept it, because sometimes that's the hardest thing in any traditional industry or any changing industry, is accepting those changes, because it sometimes can feel not accessible, but it actually is increasing accessibility, and that's slowly being understood throughout the sector, and now it's being leveraged and welcomed more. But on the topic of digitization, it's beyond just the part it plays with, you know, helping with automation pieces and things like that. It's also collecting data so we can help inform our sector better, inform business better, and really seeing that it is more than just software. It's a tool that really can open new doors for us.
PEI, your spin on AI, digitization?
What I thought was really cool is, you know, using cameras, and I think it was in the panel session this afternoon, using cameras on boats and in plants and using them to pick out, less quality, product on your production line. I think that's amazing, because human error is probably the cause of most errors, and not that AI would be error free, but I think it's just upping the game. So seafood has nowhere to go but to get into that space, and I think AI is going to play a key role in that.
A Newfoundland's perspective?
I echo my colleagues' perspective on all of that. I wish I was more adept at the digitization piece, because I see it in my day-to-day that we are moving more away from paper-based ways of collecting data and things like that, but we're not there yet 100%. And I think I made a comment earlier when you and I spoke that I wish I was more adept at the digitization, because last night I was scribbling down my opening remarks on a piece of scrap paper.
I think I called you classic.
Yes,
using pen and a paper.
yes, I use the classic pen and paper method. But a lot of plants still collect data that way, and as Jillian said, human error plays a role, and if you're writing something on a piece of paper, you lay it down in the fish plant, it gets wet, then you start to lose your data. So it's very important going forward, and that data allows plants to track trends, it allows them to do inventory management, quality control, all of those things that are required to make your plant efficient, to ensure that you have high quality product and so on. So I think that piece is going to play a key role going forward, and the AI piece we've talked about, like the camera systems, the intelligence. We don't have enough workers to do a lot of the jobs that are required in fish processing. So if you have some artificial intelligence that can replace some of those monotonous type things, we heard Alistair Trower talk earlier at Ingenuity about using the camera systems or artificial intelligence to review camera images and make decisions rather than having people stare at a screen all day. So that makes things more efficient, reduces error, and it gives people more flexibility to do things that are more, well, that's important, but to do things that are more engaging for them as well.
Final kind of thematic line of the summit was around that utilization of that, what we used to call byproduct. Now we're referring to co-product. There's a lot of new words coming out around it, and I know that PEI holistically has a lens as being this kind of a niche area to be, and certainly BioFoodTech as well. Tell me about your perspective on that conversation.
So I think there was a lot of great conversations over the last couple of days, but in the interest of time, I picked up one tagline today, and it's going to be on a t-shirt for our next conference. Same ocean, same problems. So I think in that collaborative spirit of the Atlantic provinces, like we're all fishing the same ocean, we're all, processing the same fish, same food. So I think that collaboration, that benchmarking off what's happening in one province that works, adapt that to the next province. So same ocean, same problems. And I have to attribute that to Dave Fitzgerald.
There you
Yeah.
New Brunswick's lens on that?
Nova Scotia's lens on
Sorry.
that. So that's a topic that I'm very interested in as well, and I thought I knew a lot about it, and I've learned a lot in the time that I've been here. And part of it is, again, one of the key reasons is that collaboration. If you don't know your neighbor's doing something, and you can't learn from them and what they've done, then you're missing an opportunity. And
you're spending the same money twice to get
exactly.
the same information.
Yeah, and I spend a lot of time going out to see clients in the field, going in, and one of the questions I always ask, well, first I ask, are you doing everything on paper? What's your digitization level? And are you open? But what's your waste stream? Do you have waste stream? And you get the same answer from everyone. And depending on the sector, it's 2% loss, and you wonder, is that number correct? And if it is, well, that's a really big number when you're talking about millions and millions of pounds of lobster or whatnot throughout an entire province, and then you have 4 provinces experiencing it. What can we do to work together to solve that problem?
And Newfoundland?
Perfect segue again into my plug for an application that we have put forward. So during the panel discussion earlier today, Carrie Bunnell from Ocean Choice International talked about the need for the provinces to collaborate to look at solutions for our byproduct and turn that into a co-product or something more valuable. And so myself and Jillian and Ashley Sprague out of Perennia and We have a contact at Valores who's involved in the project as well. We've put an application into AFF for the 4 Atlantic provinces to work together on exactly that issue. So this platform is a perfect example of the need for that type of collaboration, and the fact that the industry is saying that they recognize that this is something. These issues are issues that need to be tackled not only by industry. They need the academic institutions to help, and they need the provincial and federal governments to support what they're doing as well. So I think we've built a platform through the Seafood Industry Innovation Summit where those conversations can start, and hopefully these types of collaborations can continue. Right now we're starting with the waste management piece as a collaboration across the 4 Atlantic provinces, and we think that will grow. There's already been talks about, how do we tackle the automation piece, the artificial intelligence, digitization. So I'm excited for the future of this event. This was the first event that we've held of this type, and I'm happy that it went well. As an organizing committee, you never know if something new, how is it going to be received by the participants, and we've had an overwhelming response and just such positive feedback. I can't wait for the next one.
Listen, it couldn't happen, of course, without great sponsors, and I know you're holding one of the sponsors in your hands. What would you like to say in a couple of short words to the sponsors for leading in and helping you with this? So we'll go to Nova Scotia first.
There you go. Well, that's a huge part, is having people have faith in you.
Right.
So we put out this new idea, and having really key sponsors, Botter being one of many, who stepped in, said, we're going to take a chance on you, we're going to support this because we believe in what you're doing. It's just, and then also having delegates come in from all the provinces and do that same thing. We're putting faith in them and they're putting faith in us, and I think that was, for me, it was moving.
Newfoundlanders, to the sponsors. What do you say to the sponsors?
Thank you. We definitely could not have pulled this off without the support of the sponsors. I'm not going to recite all of them, but Botter.
They're on the bottom of the screen.
Botter, yeah.
Good, they're all on the bottom of the screen. So we've had a number of industry sponsors that stepped forward wanting to support the event. We had people who found out late and they were calling saying, hey, we believe in what you're doing, we'd still like to sponsor the event. What do you need? So just thank you.
PEI to the sponsors?
Well, I think the big thing is the first conversation we had about this when I was brought into the organizing team. We were ready to jump and just trust that the sponsors were going to appear and be there. And we started to get a few early, and we're like full steam ahead. And then everybody, like you said, how can we get involved? We want to be involved. I think there were still people this week saying, "What's happening? Why don't we know about it? Let's get involved." So I think, huge thank you is the biggest thing. Yeah.
And of course, the people that attended, a lot of people took time out of their schedules, traveled a distance, some from international destinations to be here. So I would ask you, what do you want to say to the people that attended your event? So tell me what you really, really want to say. We'll start with you.
Well, obviously, huge thank you as well. Without the participants, we wouldn't have an event. So the participants really, they're here to see and learn, but we're also learning from them. And it's great that they're so open to discuss these issues with us, because as a technology provider and that link between academia and industry, where we're trying to work with them on solutions, we need their input because they're busy with their day-to-day jobs. So I'm just overwhelmed with how many people actually, as you said, took time out of their busy schedules, and some people they wanted to come for the full 4 days but could only attend certain sessions, so they're saying, hey, can we just come in for these sessions? We said, absolutely, just come for whichever sessions that you can. So it is all about the participants. Sure, it's about sponsors and it's about committees and all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, the purpose of the summit is to help industry and industry participants. It just makes it happen. It's
PEI to the people that attended. What would you like to say?
A great big thank you for lots of conversations, lots of networking conversations. The social events attached to this. That's where I started most of my conversations, continuing the next day in a more professional manner. But the fact that everybody came and everybody was so open to sharing their, because everybody's coming in with their own stories, and they all, I feel like a lot was shared this week.
And Nova Scotia, you can speak for New Brunswick too, because you guys are connected. So
It's true. We are
you are connected.
I'm sure they would echo the
Yeah.
same thing.
So the people that attended, what do you say?
Truly thank you from the bottom of all our hearts, including New Brunswick. It's why we did this, but also they're just such great people to be around, and getting to be in this setting with them, just learning about each other on a personal level and translating those relationships into something very productive, and I think integral in changing the industry is really wonderful to be part of, and just thank you for coming.
Well, I will tell you this, that it does not happen without a lot of people behind the scenes doing a lot of work, and you represent a lot of that effort. So on behalf of everybody that attended, and the sponsors that put their effort into this as well, your job has been admirable, and thank you very much. You should be very proud of your efforts. What a wonderful event you've had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.